So what I wanted to talk about today was basically gut health and microbiome, and why a certain bit of our food is actually really, really important for us. And it's a bit that gets kind of, we all know about it, but we don't really know why we need to eat it. So our gut health, our gut health or our microbiome is basically our unique pharmacy, as Tim Spector called it, which I thought was a lovely analogy. And it is the foundation of why we feel so good. It regulates our mood from anxiety to depression. It gives us our energy. It just is absolutely us because it is trillions of microbes, many, many more times than our DNA, ourselves, and it is our absolutely unique fingerprint. So unique that identical twins, even sterile mice, so they have no access to the outside world, so they're completely sterile. A mouse with a good microbiome will have a healthy body weight, and an identical mouse with a poor microbiome lands up, as you can see, a mega mouse. And then you do a poo sample and the mega mouse becomes the little mouse becomes the mega mouse. And I really shouldn't have done that because the dog's now going, what on earth are you doing? So what actually affects our diet? Now, most people probably know this, but I thought I'd just say it. So it's things like white bread, pasty, cakes, pasta, sugary things like biscuits, etc., and things which are high in saturated fats, especially trans fats. So anything basically in a packet is pretty well to be avoided, and anything that has more than 10 ingredients in it, or ingredients that you have not a clue what they are, or you wouldn't actually keep in your store cupboard. They are low in fiber and they are low in good fats. So things like omega-3s and unsaturated fats, and also your fruit and veg. So why is fiber so important? Well, when we absorb something, and this doesn't matter if it's fruit or veg, so your grape or your donut, you actually bring in basically sugars into the bloodstream. And if you're digesting a donut, that is a really, really massive, sharp spike that's brought in because nothing is regulating it. And the difference between an equal one of a grape, so you have the same amount of sugar in your mega grapes, the sugar, because of the fiber, actually comes into the bloodstream in a much, much slower way. So your peak is much, much more elongated, much lower, much more rounded. And what that means to the body is it actually has time to use that nutrients we need, the sugar we need to have our energy. But with a big spike, it comes zooming in, and then you get this enormous great crash. And what happens is that crash actually falls through the floor, keeps going. So then the body goes, oh my God, I'm now too low in sugar. I need more sugar. And so therefore you get a craving because that's the body's regulating system. Another really important thing is when we have something which is fatty, so that may be from coconut oil, or it may be from your fish and chips. Fiber comes along, the soluble fibers come along, which are in your bloodstream, and they snaffle it up, package it up, and remove that envelope of extra fats through our excretory systems, which I thought was so clever. And further to that, it acts as a cleaning agent in our intestines, so lower down, keeping them all nice and clean, especially the lining, because our cells need to have effectively a suicide mechanism. So if they get damaged or altered, the body needs to be able to clean them. Because if it can keep our lining clean, not only is it doing that absorption well, but by doing that housework, it's stopping any buildup of contaminated or broken cells building up to each other. And this is one of the thoughts that they have in where you don't have enough, this cleaning mechanism may be linked to diseases like bowel cancer and things like that. But also, final things is it gives us, along with protein, that feeling of being full. So, okay, fine, we're eating some food, 20 or so minutes later, right, we don't need any more anymore. So that enables us to maintain a healthy weight. It reduces our systemic inflammation, which means we have a reduction in chronic disease. Because unlike the old theory, genetics is only a very, very small part. 10% genetics, 90% lifestyle. So where do we find fiber? Well, the good news is it's everywhere, in nuts and seeds, fruit and veg, herbs, spices, yep, and whole grains, and those dreaded spices, beans or pulses. This is the bit that always makes people gasp. We've latched onto the 5 a day, but actually now know that actually 5 a day is nowhere near enough. We need to try and aim for 30 different varieties a week and 10 servings a day. Now that is quite a lot. So what Synergy have done is they have actually created, and we've just been launched, first in Europe, so we're really proud, a new series which is going to help people basically not bypass a healthy diet and exercise, or activity rather, but to be able to top themselves up where they know they're not actually doing particularly well. So this week we launched Pro 360 Performance Greens, which is very similar to either the raw greens or the athletic greens, but being Synergy, it's a bit extra. And in that sachet, and it is very tasty, I have to say, is 2 servings of greens. And that's for people who basically struggle. They know they want to eat more greens, they struggle to do it, and therefore they're wanting to top up their normal meals. Or you get people that only like certain greens. So they're not particularly keen on on kale or spinach. They don't like pulses. They don't know what to do with, veg and how to cook them, but they want more biodiversity in their life. And therefore, essential greens effectively is a range of the rarer greens and spices that people don't commonly eat, made into a tasty sachet that is just a powder that you mix with water. And that can then basically add diversity so that you can carry on eating the food that you like and possibly experiment with a few extras, but know that you're actually getting that diversity towards your 30 different varieties a week. So that's just a snapshot on how fiber can really, really help the body, is unique in its thing, simple, but also a little way that you can actually help to bolster your diet.